Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to talk to you about how I passed the NCLEX exam. So if you are a nurse or in nursing school or wanting to go to nursing school, you may be familiar with the NCLEX. It's the national certifying exam for someone to be licensed as a registered nurse. Now, taking this exam was like so stressful for me because it was like I did so well in nursing school and it was so hard, and I felt like I graduated, I'm done, and now all of that just was pushed to the side. It was like, now you have to pass this exam. I know you passed nursing school, and I mean you graduated from nursing school, and that's all fine and dandy, but now you have to pass this exam. So it's like all of my years and time spent in nursing school all boiled down to this one huge exam. And it's so stressful. I mean, I don't know how everybody else went through the process, but oh my God, I would stay up so late. Like I was studying for an exam that I had to take the next day. But anywho, I'll get into that a little bit later. But if you want to find out how I passed the NCLEX exam, sit back and I'm going to tell you all about it. I graduated in December of 2011. Oh my gosh, it feels like forever ago. But I graduated in December, and it was about mid-December. So what I decided to do was take some time off before I started to study for the exam. I think it was about 2 weeks up until the new year. I was like, I'm going to relax. I'm not going to do anything. So a friend of mine that I was in nursing school with, she started to apply for nursing jobs, and it got me a little panic, and I was like, okay, well maybe I should start, applying too. So I applied for one position. And that was a hospital that I really wanted to work at, and it's actually the hospital where I work. So, I applied to this job, and it was like a lot going into filling out the applications and making sure my resume was, put together, and, it was really being proactive before I took my exam. But what I realized is the priority was passing the exam, because if I didn't pass the exam, there would be no job to get. So I stopped applying for jobs, and I just waited until the beginning of the year to, buckle down and really study. So for me, the first thing I did to pass this exam was register for a review course. There's so many out there. You just have to choose the best one for you. There's like Hearst and Hesse and Kaplan. Me personally, I chose Kaplan because they had the most NCLEX style questions, and they had tons and tons and tons of exams that you can take, and you can kind of customize just for you. So that review course was scheduled for the first week of the new year, first week in January. So it was a review course that was online. You would get online. The class started at maybe like 6 o'clock every day for 5 days, and you would go over test taking strategies, content review, and just so much stuff during that class. And then at the end of it, you would take this NCLEX type exam, and it would tell you everywhere that you're proficient and deficient in. So after I got that information, I looked over and I was like, okay, well, I mapped out everything that I needed to go over, everything I felt that I needed to study per the exam. I mean, per the, the review course that said, hey, this is what you need to work on. And then I knew personally some of the information that I had a hard time with in nursing school. I threw that on there because I wanted to go over a little bit of content review. So after that, what did I do? I ran to the store. Where did I go? To get study material. This is not even all of it. But that was the best ones. Those are the ones that I used. Also, I got a new planner. Of course, I got a new planner. It's me. I like to plan. I'm so stuck on these planners. I wasn't yet into Erin Condren, but I bought me a planner. In between that time, I got a call back from the hospital that I applied from. And I was like, oh my gosh. So they wanted me to come and interview. So I did I did one-on-one interviews. I did panel interviews. I did another one-on-one interview. It was so much that I did to get that particular job, and I got it. So they had a start date of the first week in March, and this was already like I said, the beginning of January, and I was already working at this time. So I had to choose a date next. And once I chose this date, I chose the particular date because I needed at least, if I passed the exam, I needed at least 2 weeks to be able to give notice to my the current job that I had at the time. Yes, never leave a job without giving proper notice. You don't ever want to burn bridges, especially if they were amazing to you. So the date that I had to choose was Valentine's Day. And you know what? It's so funny because when I chose the date, I wasn't even thinking, not that I had a choice because that was the only date around that time, but when I chose the date, I wasn't even like, oh, that's Valentine's Day, I don't want to take it a date. No, I was so focused on taking the exam, passing it, and getting this job that I just chose it. Click. February 14th on the books. So I chose this date. I had my planner. I mapped out everything that I wanted to do up until that time. Okay. Now, the particular things that I wanted to study, I threw that down every 2 weeks because I wanted to make sure that if I studied it for 2 weeks, did I get it? Do I need to revise my plan and add this back on? Or, you know, you wanted to be able to revise and tweak and do everything. So I mapped out my whole, I think it was about maybe 5 weeks or so, 5 or 6 weeks, and yeah, I made my plan and I went by my study guide, and I just went all in. Good thing because I had a receptionist position at the time, and I was able to study while I was at work, and I'm forever grateful for my boss. I absolutely loved him for that. I was able to just study while I was there. Okay, back to everything. What I chose to study, I used a lot of books, so let me show you that. The holy grail of studying for the NCLEX exam is Saunders. I know you've seen this book. Look how thick it is. But it is amazing for content review. Like the book says, it's a comprehensive review. And that's exactly what it is. If you want to know anything, it's in this book. Get this book. It's a dinosaur, but get this book. Anything you want to know is in here. It beats having to use all of your nursing books and keep going from book to book to book to book to book, trying to find information when it's all in there. I recommend getting the dinosaur, the encyclopedia of nursing school. Okay. You know what? It would be great if you're already in nursing school or planning to go to nursing school. Get this book. It'll help you while you're in nursing school because it put everything in the outline and help you focus on the most important material that you need to retain. The next book that I have is this is from the Kaplan review course. It also has a lot of information in here, but the way that it's broken down into certain categories and things like that, to be honest with you, I really didn't use this book. I love the review course. I just didn't go to this book, I think, because I had some other ones. So, it's a good book. I just didn't use it. So, the next book I got was the Hearst Review book for Med Surg. This is an awesome, awesome book. Okay, it's bright, it's colorful, it has little tidbits of information. The way that the information is broken down, it's almost like it's layman's terms to where anybody can understand it. You totally have to get this book. Okay, it's amazing. End all be all of books is the Prioritization, Delegation, and Assignment book. It's by La Charity and some other people, but you'll know about, most people will say La Charity and you'll know exactly which book they're talking about. But this book, all of my exam questions, and everybody's exam will be different, but most of my exam questions were these type of questions. They were either prioritization, delegation, or assignment type of questions. I mean, I had maybe 3 pharmacy questions or anything like that, but most of them were just like this, and thank God for this book. Now, the other 2 books are a little bit, I wouldn't say unconventional, but they are. It's called the Memory Notebook of Nursing, and I got 2 of them. So it's just kind of a book that has like visual images and mnemonics and things that help jog your memory or help you easily retain information that you can use even through nursing school. But I didn't see them until it was time for me to study for my exam, and I'm glad that I got them. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, for instance, take a look at this picture here. So it's showing 10 fingers for each, and it's teaching you about heparin and Coumadin, which are coagulation medications. So what they're saying is it's showing you which tests are related to heparin and which one's related to Coumadin. So if you have to be on heparin, you want to make sure you take a PTT. If you are on Coumadin, you want to take a PT. So how do you remember this thing? The number of letters in heparin, 7. The number of letters in PTT, 3. It all equals out to 10. Coumadin has 8 letters. PT has 2 letters. So you know which tests go which medication. And you know what? You're looking at it like, oh my God, just remember PT with Coumadin. It's pretty easy to forget. Here's another one. And this is talking about glycemic control. So hot and dry, sugar high, which is hyperglycemia, and cold and clammy, need some candy, hypoglycemia. So it's just little things like that. I mean, those 2 are kind of corny, but you know, anything helps, right? So it's a lot of them in here though. So even if you don't need those little ones and you're like, those are easy, there's some other ones in here that you might be able to use. Okay, so after you have all of your study material and you have your plan set, you want to make sure you take a lot of practice tests. That is what is going to get you through the NCLEX exam. A lot of practice tests, because you can apply strategy. You learn which content you do and what you don't know and what you need to work on more. It will all be revealed to you when you take these tests, okay? Practice, 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 because you can have from 75 questions to, I think it's 260 something. I can't remember now, but it's like 260 or 270 some odd questions. You can be there for all of that, okay? And it's a long exam, so this gets your stamina up, okay? So if you're prepared, you're like, okay, I can do this amount of test questions at a time before I need to take a break. So what happened? I mean, we all know what happened. I'm here. I'm a nurse, but the night before the exam, they tell you to get lots of sleep. Yeah, right. My nerves were through the roof. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I didn't eat dinner that night. I stayed up like all night going over small things in my head, like lab results. Like, okay, do I really know this and do I really know that? I think I fell asleep maybe at, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning when I had to get up at 6. My exam was set for 8 o'clock. So, I didn't drive there. I took the train there. And I actually had breakfast with my mom close to the exam site. I did eat because I was starving because I didn't eat the night before. I made myself eat, but my nerves were like, I don't know about you, but when I'm nervous, I can't really eat. But I kind of made myself eat because I know I was hungry. I don't know. The body is strange. So, I walked to my test taking site. I got there. You get fingerprinted. You get your picture taken. It's the real deal, okay? You put all of your personal items in a locker. It gets locked away. They lead you into this room. There's like cubicles of computers. You sit down in front of yours, and it's you one-on-one with this computer, and you're taking the test. So you're taking questions after questions after questions after questions. The lowest amount of questions you can get is 75. After I got the 75 questions, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm doing. I felt like I was doing okay, but then I felt like I'm doing horrible. I don't know. I was starting to panic then. So I said, okay, I need to take a break. Let me go use the bathroom and pull myself together. So I went, I used the bathroom, and I just put a little bit of water on my face, and I was like, okay, get it together. Snap out of it. Get your head back into the game, okay? I went back. I sat down. I answered a couple more questions, and the computer shut off at 106. So I got 106 questions, and the computer absolutely goes blank. And I already knew this because they told us that this is what's going to happen. But when it happens, you're like, ah! What happened? Like, the test shut off. You're done. Is what happened. So then you take like a little, it's like a survey or something at the end. And then you leave, you get your information, and you have to wait. That's when the waiting game started. I was waiting for more than just the test results. I was waiting for the tears to drop because I had this huge cry ball in my throat that it was ready. The tears were welling up. I was just like, oh my gosh, I failed. As soon as I left the door, I got on the elevator and I was bawling. I walked past the security guard at the desk and I was bawling. I had to walk like 3, maybe 4 blocks to the train station, crying, totally like bawling. And then my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, was calling me saying, how did it go? And happy Valentine's Day. And then I was just bawling. I went home, like I cried the entire ride. I think my train ride was about 35 minutes. I cried the entire time, like head leaned onto the window. People were looking like, what is wrong with her? I didn't even care, okay? I was crying. My drive home, I lived about maybe a 7-minute drive from the station, but I cried all the way there. I went home. I tried the I think the Kaplan, I forget what it's called, but it's like a little trick that you do. You try to log in and register for the exam again. If it lets you, you failed. If you get a little pop-up blocker, you pass. I got the little pop-up, but I just could not believe it until I got my results. So I registered for the 3-day result thing. That came that Friday, and I opened it up while I was at work. It was so melodramatic. I was expecting some type of, I don't know, glitter to be thrown in the air and confetti, but it wasn't. It was like, pass. I was like, I passed! Like, I called everybody. I was so excited. And because I was so sad and crying on Valentine's Day, my boyfriend took me to New York to celebrate Valentine's Day and passing the NCLEX exam that weekend. So that whole stressful time all paid off. I'm here. I'm an RN, and I am so happy about it. So I hope this helped you. And if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell to let you know when I post new videos. Comment below if you want to see more, and follow me on my social media. My Snapchat and my Instagram is where I'm most active. But if you hit me up on Twitter, I will see it, and I will respond for that. And I'll see you next time.